my name is Teresa Lamb. Today I'm going to talk to you about nurse-to-patient ratios. As a new nurse and with a year under my belt in my career, I have noticed that patient ratios on our floor can be somewhat of an issue. Currently on my unit, it's a medical surgical unit, our ratios can go up to 6 patients to 1 nurse. Some nights this is fine if I have patients that are able to walk and ambulate on their own. Other nights when I have a higher acuity patient that needs Q2 turns and incontinent, then I have issues because I have another patient that may be a fall risk. If I am tending to one patient, the other patient may need me also and get out of bed, and then that's where we run into issues. The other thing is it doesn't allow me to go into the room in a timely manner. If I'm checking on 6 patients within an hour, it doesn't always happen or allow me to get back into the room in a timely manner to check on them. At times I won't always notice a decline in my patients, and that leads to more risk for our patients because it can be too late at that point. We've missed signs and symptoms before that end up being a MET call when it could have just been a patient update. The other stuff I'm going to talk to you about is the increased safety for my coworkers. When this happens, there's a higher chance of a coworker, a staff member getting harmed or hurt. They're running from room to room, not realizing or taking time for themselves, and they run into issues with sleep. They run into issues with getting hurt, tripping over items that they don't realize are there because they're rushing around. Needles, they can also harm themselves with needles on an accidental poke, which that has happened on our floor before. The other issue that we see is that our patient satisfaction goals decrease. Currently, we use a survey that is sent out to our patients that asks them questions about the cleanliness of the hospital and the timeliness of their nurse staff. With these surveys going out, we have found that when our ratios are higher, like the 6-to-1 ratios, our patient satisfaction scores decline. With that decline, our funding goes down. We try to strive to be in the top 50% of the hospitals in the United States and in the area, and with our ratios being 6-to-1, our percentages go down to 2%, which is unsatisfactory for our hospital in general and any hospital in this area. As a trauma 1 center, we try to strive to be perfect in most areas, and this is where we're falling short. When our ratios are 4-to-1, our patients feel that they're adequately cared for, they're receiving attention in a timely manner. They allow us to give downtime with our patients and spend downtime where we can sit and talk to them and get to know them better on a personal level. And that's something that means a lot to the patients that I've cared for. I notice that I get more mentions if I sit down and ask my patients where they're from, and I spend that extra 10 minutes with them instead of running out of the room as soon as I'm done passing a medication. The other major issue that I've seen currently on my unit is nurse burnout. Evidence shows that heavy patient loads can cause nurse stress, job dissatisfaction, and burnout. That's from the Association of Nurses. This leads to nurses leaving their jobs either to move to another unit or to leave the career field completely. As a newer nurse, I've seen multiple nurses make that change. I had a nurse recently that moved to a new unit where her nurse-patient ratio would only be 4-to-1 on any given day. And she feels like she would be safer herself, and her stress level has declined immensely. I have another nurse that has left nursing altogether due to an injury to her back. She sustained it in her 3rd year of nursing, and by year 5 she could no longer maintain care for patients. She couldn't lift a patient or turn them, so she had to leave nursing completely. And then I've had another example is a younger nurse who was working for the jail and came to my unit and said the stress was too much and returned to the jail to care for county inmates, where she said was less stressful and the patients were more respectful. Her call to me after she quit said that her burnout rate went from 0 to 60 in a month. So that's something that is an issue with burnouts and patients or nurses leaving our field, we can't always have adequate staffing. So that leads to more burnout, more injuries, and more patient safety issues. In conclusion, our patients come to our hospital to get better. They come for healing, and a lot of them have a ton of anxiety getting here. When they have a caring, kind face that comes into the room with a smile, and they know they're going to be taken care of, or if their mother is not speaking and the daughter feels comfortable and the daughter is able to leave and go get sleep for the night, that's part of my job, and that's why I became a nurse. I didn't want to become a nurse to be running around with like a chicken with my head cut off and running from room to room, and patients thinking I'm ignoring them because I've been in another room longer. I feel like nursing ratios need to be fixed, and it needs to be a mandated ratio across the board for different units. Acuity needs to be addressed in each patient assignment. Higher acuity patients should have low acuity patients in the mix with them, but for a critical unit like a med-surg unit or cardiac unit, the nursing ratios should be 4-1 or less. Thank you for listening. I hope you had a good night.